when we are now recording. Let me get the lines muted real quick. Welcome to the call, folks. Like I said, this is our 8th day of our financial fast with Michelle Singletary, the 21-day financial fast. If you haven't got the book, listen. Even though we're 8 days in, get this book. This is a book that you will go back and refer to. Okay, it's helping you set up budgets, helping you fast, helping you save money. This next chapter is going to be absolutely powerful. Today is day 8, the salvation of saving. Okay, so what me and my wife were talking about last night after I read the text, I was like, man, and I've always said this, right? That when the economy is doing good, there's an inverted relationship between debt of consumers and when the economy is thriving. You want to know which one it is? The economy is thriving when the majority of the nation is in debt. Let me say it again, okay? When the nation is thriving, it's when a majority of the nation personally is in debt, consumerism. And so our economy has found a way to enslave you based on your own needs to drive our economy. Okay. But you got to understand there's two different people. And unfortunately, I'm going to say it just how it is. In this equation, there's going to be winners and losers. There's no in between. See, some people think, I heard someone say, well, man, I don't like to invest in the stock market because there's winners and losers. And what you don't understand, there's winners and losers in everything. Okay. And money doesn't go away. We're serious. It just transfers hands. There's nothing new under the sun. There's no new resources happening. They're all there. Okay. So when I go in this chapter, I want you to understand you gotta choose. There's no in between. Which one are you going to be? Okay. Are you going to be somebody who has the money or not has the money? Okay. So when I say winners and losers, here's what I'm really talking about. There are savers and there are spenders. Okay. So when our economy is thriving, you can thrive with the economy, capitalism, private institutions. How you thrive with the economy is you being in position to take advantage of some of the things that are there, assets. But most people don't have the savings, okay, let alone to take care of their own personal interests to go out and buy things that will increase with the economy. And so she goes on to talk about in this chapter, for those who read it, okay, starting off, here's the main point of this chapter, right? There's great rewards in savings. And I'm going to talk about a story from the Bible with this. It's powerful, okay? Probably one of the greatest stories there. And she said the U.S., and understand there's going to be times of plenty and there's going to be times of famine for all of us. And unfortunately, we have gotten into the phase of when things are good, we balling out of control. Okay, we balling, popping bottles in the club. Okay, maybe not that extreme, but we balling, right? We buying a lot of stuff, maybe upgrading the house. Okay, we're doing a lot of stuff during the good times, and we're not storing away from when the famine comes, right? We've been warned of this. You're going to get 7 days of plenty, of abundance, okay? And then you're going to get 7 days of famine. And so here's true story in 2000, beginning of 2000. A lot of you remember those years. I remember those years, okay? 2000 was booming, okay? 2000 was booming, but here's what was happening in 2000. For some people, it wasn't booming. Debt consumption, people taking on new debt, which helped pull the U.S. economy out of the recession in 2000. Okay, let me say it again. People putting themselves in debt help pull the economy out of debt. That's all. So someone has to be indebted. You understand that? And so they need you to go consume on the market. So this is where now you start looking at the politician side and you're like, it doesn't really matter, okay? One says, we're going to give you the money this way. One says, we're going to get you the money this way. They all have the same agenda. I need you to spend it. Okay? That's the agenda. I want you to keep this scripture on your head. Do not be conformed to the things of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Listen, we've been warned, okay? You got to start looking through a lens when you look at the world. If it's coming from the world, like, does this serve me? Listen, some of you believe that the government serves you, and I'm not saying government is bad, but some of you believe that the government is here to save you. The government is exactly what it's here for, to keep the government running, to keep the economy running, okay? By all means necessary. That's what it's here for. You being a small person in the equation does not count, okay? They require you to make a decision. They give you free will. That's why we have a capitalistic country. Okay, we have a capitalistic country where, believe it or not, we have more freedoms than a lot of other countries. But you have the freedom, just like God gives us free will to mess up or follow His will. Just like in the United States, they give you free will. If you want to become rich, you can become rich. If you want to stay poor, you'll stay poor. Okay, so Michelle goes on to talk about, listen, home values rose after 2000. Remember I talked about the more money is printed, consumption, price of goods and services go up. Okay, home values rose. The savings rates in the United States was abysmal. Done. So while the economy started thriving, bank accounts were getting empty, the national savings rate dipped below zero. That means people were not saving money whatsoever. And so you'll hear me say the statistic, 80% of people are in debt. True. Okay. 76% of them, and probably more now, have less than $1,000 in their bank account. 40% have less than 400, one paycheck away from being homeless. That's where right now 26 million people right now during this pandemic. Okay. There's not food in the refrigerator, right? We're in famine. There's some people that are going through their famine right now, and if they need to store up, they can't go through it. Okay. Homeowners took, now here's the flip. Okay. Homeowners took advantage of the low interest rates. What's happening, y'all? What was the first thing the Federal Reserve did when we start going through this? Okay. I need you to understand what happens, because I didn't understand what, even as a real estate agent, I try to understand why do they lower it and why do they increase and lower interest rates? Okay. Now you're about to learn. Okay. It's to push habits. Okay. Because when you say, oh my God, I wasn't thinking about getting a credit card, but interest rates exist, I'm gonna get one. Okay. You're gonna use it. I wasn't planning on upgrading or refinancing my house, taking the equity I already have out of it, or I wasn't planning on doing this, but because there's a 3% interest rate. Listen, I have people call me because I've been in real estate for a while and say, hey, they didn't want my advice. Okay. They didn't want my advice, but they called to ask. Someone asked me, hey, should I get that? No, you shouldn't. Not right now. No, they got it anyway. The interest rates are 3%. It doesn't matter. Because all they want you to do is spend that interest rate. You're still going to pay 3 times what the house is worth. Okay, when you understand the game. So homeowners took advantage of low interest rates by borrowing against the seemingly never-ending rise in the value of their homes. See, some people don't understand the equation, right? They borrowed to pay for home improvements. How many of you have done that before? We've all done it. I've done it. Okay, you borrow to make home improvements. We call it what? A home equity line of credit, a HELOC. Okay, worst thing you can do, but I did it. We all done it before. Okay. College tuition, you're just transferring debt, folks. Listen, taking one out of this place to put in this place, you're just transferring debt. A car, or to roll the debt from a car into their mortgage. They borrow against their homes to take advantage of vacations or pay off credit card debts. We're just transferring around our debt, folks. It's all the same. And so what happened is the economy starts thriving based off of your debt habits. Listen, you've heard me. Some of you were on my call that I did about debt and the history of it. You realize that credit cards are only 55 years old. You realize the credit system is only 55 years old. Okay, the stock market, all this, this is new. The Federal Reserve created in 1913. U.S. dollar, first dollar created in 1914, produced 1914. All of this is new, and they start figuring their stuff out along the way. How do I? I'm not saying they're thinking about in debt to people, but how do I keep people paying us? How do I keep money coming in? Because as you know, taxes alone cannot run the country when you start looking at the numbers. So the next one, rising home prices led families to concentrate more and more of their wealth, okay, transfer wealth, into their homes, even as they expanded their credit lines to maintain their consumption. The habit of spending more than you have to long. Okay. And when you have the habit of spending more than you have, you will be indebted. You will be in slavery, right? The Bible warns against that. Wisdom warns against that. Okay. So we know not to indebt ourselves, but unfortunately we do it every single day. Okay. You have the option to either pay off your debts or put more debt onto it. And what do we choose? We always choose the latter. We always choose, let's swipe the card. Okay. Let's spend the money that we don't have because we don't think about the balances on the credit cards, on the mortgage, or whatever the debt you owe, right? It's easy to go out into the world and just swipe, and then that money depleted. So the next one, she says, during the time of plenty, many individuals didn't save. Okay. Many corporations weren't saving. Let me say that again. Many corporations weren't saving. Okay, so you're working your job thinking you're gonna have a job for life. You might have worked for Sears, you might have worked for Kmart. Okay, you might have been with that company for 30, 40 years when you had a retirement coming in, and it was through them, the industrial age, where they take care of you. And these corporations during times of plenty, they weren't even putting money away. The big CEOs were giving themselves big bonuses. The big executives, they were giving themselves bonuses. So corporations were living on the high horses. You've seen this, the collapse of corporations that living just, do you realize there are corporations living just like you? There are corporations living paycheck to paycheck. American Airlines were living on 5% margin. Okay, 5% margin. They got a wake-up call. Big time. They almost collapsed. Now you have a lot of companies out there because they've gotten so big in the world that they're too big to fail. Why? The government won't let them fail because it's going to be a catastrophe for the economy, because you're going to lay off, hundreds of thousands of families. Okay, in which, where do they have to get the money? They got to go to the government to get the money now, or they got to go figure something out. And so understand, this is a big one huge loop, and you can be the person to make a big change in the economy while on the way to wealth with your family. Okay. Lastly, the federal government increased its spending, eroding what had been a nice budget surplus. So you guys hear me talk about, you can write this down, usdebtclock.org. I would advise you, to learn the numbers. I know a lot of people say, I'm not a numbers person. That's no longer cool anymore. Okay. Not being a numbers person is not cool, because the people who love the numbers, okay, can sometimes take advantage of the people who don't know the numbers. And unfortunately, when you don't care about the numbers, you're getting taken advantage of. You got to know your own numbers. Even in the fitness arena, she gives the analogy of every morning, she hops on the scale to see what her weight is. Guess what? I do the same thing. I have a scale right by my sink. I hop on that scale every morning to see where I'm at. Okay. It has my habits changed. When you have a budget, that's the same thing. You get to see, has my spending habits changed? She said 49% of people don't know what net worth is or know what their net worth is. Okay. And net worth is all of your assets, things that you own. Now, some people will argue about this. She said all of your personal assets. Some of you may go and say, man, I got my laptop bag, I got my laptop, that may be $400. You put some value on it, right? Okay. I remember someone asked my net worth. I started calculating, let me see, I got, these books right here, $5 each. And you start calculating net worth, you try to get the net worth, how you get it. That's not net worth. Let's be honest. Okay, here's what net worth is. Net worth is your assets. Assets are things that have value and make you money. Okay, let me talk about it. Assets is something you can sell right now, probably for a higher price, or it maintains its value. A home that maybe you have rented out is really an asset. Okay, something that's making you money is really assets, right? In the Robert Kiyosaki's terms. But some people may say my car is my asset. Okay, you can sell the car for $20,000, whatever the case may be. Okay, things like silver. Okay, I'm gonna show you silver. People always ask me, what's special about silver? Okay, this is a 10-ounce bar of silver right here. Okay, why does it hold its value? Because the government prints money. This is real. So there's three types of money. There's fiat currency, that's fiduciary money. Okay, and then you have I said fiat, right? Commodities, fiduciary. Okay, fiduciary is things that were backed by commodities, right? That used to be our gold and silver certificates, or your CDs and things of that sort. So that's your fiduciary money. So when you're working with fiat currency, that ain't good for you. So you get things of value, assets. Your assets minus all of your expenses. Okay, and once you minus all your expenses, that's your net worth. Now, majority of people have a negative net worth. Okay, it's so indebted. 80% of people have a negative net worth. They're indebted to the country. Okay, and almost by design. And so let me tell you this story. Story about Joseph. Okay, Joseph was sold to slavery by his brothers, and it was part of the plan. Sometimes in life, I realized that you got to realize some things that happen to you are a part of the plan. Okay, it may be a part of the plan because you're going to change lives out there. But that's what happened to Joseph. Joseph was sold into slavery, and he was taken over to Egypt. He ended up becoming the king. Okay, and what Joseph got good at, Joseph, during the times that they were booming, okay, they were good. Joseph was storing away grain. And he got to the point that he stored away so much grain, because he used to count it, that he stored away so much grain, okay, that he stopped taking account. It was just so much. And can you imagine you store away so much money that you really don't have to look at your balance? Okay, you don't have to really make a budget. So much there. That's the point at where they got to. And then famine came across the whole country, okay, and other countries that had to come to him. And then in turn had to come to him to buy grain. They had the most grain saved up. 7 years of abundance, 7 years of famine. And so what she's going to suggest here, and what I'm telling you, this is real. Okay? I'll tell you, because we all lose jobs, or if you're an entrepreneur, okay, there's going to be times in your business where business is booming, and there's going to be times where your business is not booming so much. And if you're in debt, you're going to lose all of it. But if you're in abundance, nothing really impacts you. Okay, you can just move over, find what it is you need to find, and so forth. And so they said Joseph stored up quantities so huge, and what he instructed was instructed to do, he was instructed by God to save up a fifth. So a fifth of everything that came in, he would put away, 20%. So question, can you put away 20% of whatever's coming in right now? Don't even look at it. You're storing it away for bad times. I'm not talking about like, I need to go out and get something now. Let me go jump into this 20%. No, this 20% is there during the times when that nothing's coming in, when the land is scarce, maybe when a job is lost. And then we talked about second, he stored it up where he didn't have to account for it anymore. What happened, what you seen with Joseph, he got blessed because he was obedient with what he had. He saved up with what he had. You know, if you can be trusted with a small amount, you can be trusted with a large amount. Okay, let's talk about several things that we look at. You know, a lot of the population is not saving, not even 10%, not even 20%, let alone tithing. Okay, so we're not being obedient. We're overspending our money, not being obedient in anything, and then wonder why we're not blessed. So here's a testimony for day 8. This is Adrienne. She said, I made the very difficult decision to cancel a planned trip to Jamaica for my 30th birthday. I'd always dreamed of a vacation to celebrate this milestone birthday and had started saving money to pay for it. The problem, however, was that I also wanted to buy a house. After giving it some serious thought, I realized that the vacation was a very temporary goal, while becoming a homeowner was a lifelong goal that I also had long-term benefits for my family. I sent an email to all my friends who were already planning and saving for this trip with me and explained my decision. Surprisingly, every one of them congratulated me on this decision and gave me their full support. See, there are things in your life where you're going to have to say no to. And, you know, whether it be the 40th birthday, 30th birthday, anything, going on a vacation with your friends somewhere, versus you look at the credit cards, let's take account of what we really got going. Man, I got a $3,000 credit card. I got, you know, mortgage. I got this. You know, this trip is going to cost me $3,000. That $3,000 can pay off that credit card, because here's the long effects of the credit card. And maybe you might have put the vacation on the credit card. The long effects of the credit cards, they're basically going to get double their money. I promise you, you just automatically say it. When you put something on the credit card, I want you to just double their money. When you get ready to swipe that credit card, maybe for a $100 purchase, I want you to just know that $100 purchase probably going to cost you $200. Okay. At some point, it's going to cost you $200. Maybe in late fees. Okay. Because if you don't pay that card on time, they're going to get you $30. Boom. There goes 30% of that $100. Okay. The interest, maybe you got 25% interest compounded. Okay. Well, boom, 25% on 100, 250, couple months, you got what? They've now got half of the money that you got out of them. They got it in interest. And it happens like that. It's compounded. Okay. So you're going to have to make those hard decisions. If you are in debt, you got to make the hard decisions to save. Now, I know we went through the book Law of Success by Napoleon Hill, and some of you look at savings like it's punishment. If I save it, then I can't spend it. Spending is not the reward. I promise you, when you learn how to save, that is the reward. And I'll tell you a personal story. Look, I'm fortunate. I got to live on both sides of this journey, from having the impoverished mindset. Okay, an impoverished mindset will keep you impoverished. Period. And I look back and I laugh today because I see the things happening, but it's what I used to do too. So she's teaching you to have 2 essential funds. Okay, and I'll tell you what our family does as well too. You're going to have a major savings account. Okay, which is an emergency fund and a life happens fund. Okay, Now, some of you will have the emergency fund. You know, going out shopping for Christmas is not an emergency. Okay, going out shopping for the holidays, Valentine's, whatever the holiday that comes up, it's not an emergency. Okay, a birthday is not an emergency. Guess what? If it's in my emergency fund, that's a fund that you got to be blinded to. Listen, it took me a long time to learn this. Okay, and now to teach it, I know it's a hard thing. You know, in my household, we learn together, right? How to do this. Yeah, there's a lot of money sitting over there in that pile over there, but that pile that's our emergency pile. Okay, that pile ain't being touched, regardless of what's happening. Okay, unless there's a real out emergency. So that's what you have to get used to. I call it a segregated account, right? Act like it's not there. And for some, that may be very difficult, but an emergency fund, what is an emergency fund? Emergency fund should be a minimum of 3 to 6 months of living expenses. So a lot of you have done your budget already. So you know exactly what it takes to live right now. What I want you to do, okay, you're going to put away money. That's one fund you're going to have, okay? That's going to go in a savings account. Go and put it somewhere that you can't really touch. She talks about CDs. Okay, I'm not very, very, familiar with how CDs work all together, but I know that there's some time that you have to keep them before you can use them, so you have to be careful. But you can put them in CDs. The goal is go find a interest yielding fund to place that money, and don't place it in somewhere that's going to charge you and take your money. But put it somewhere. It could be a very low interest account, just something that's going to keep your money safe, and you're going to put 6 months of reserves away. Okay, it's like 7 years if you want 7 or a whole year. Okay. And what does emergency look like? Emergency is what's happening right now. These lines here. Emergency is what's happening right now. Pandemic is hit and you lose your job. Well, you can live off a whole year off of income. Emergency is, listen, we had to transition businesses, folks. We left, when we left our last company, okay, we were used to bringing in on average about 12 to 15,000 a month there, okay? And then overnight, went away, okay? And we were owed some money. And we had a lot of people, I understood why a lot of people stayed, because the hope of getting money and they're gonna pay my money. And you're pending on the money, and because if you leave it like, I know I'm not gonna get it and I need it. And we had to make a decision. I'm grateful that we did have savings, we did have assets, and I wasn't willing to sell any of my assets to hold on to something that I knew was going down, okay? That was my mindset, so you understand where I was. That's emergency. That's how I look at it. And so we had to transition businesses, and here's exactly what we did. We immediately downsized the house. Immediately, okay? That rank house that we had, we immediately downsized that. The lease was coming up, so I said, boom, we're gonna downsize, save some money, more money. And then, of course, for just a month or so, okay, we already had money in the emergency savings, no big deal. Didn't need a check coming in. And then, of course, most of you know, when we came here, it took us about 60 days to hit enough income to get back to where we were, and then start life all over again, right? You need enough time. Now, that wasn't critical because it took us 2 months, but wonder if it would have took me 6 months. 6 months, right, to really get your life back in order and not to be indebted more. And this is what's important. The lack of money will cost you money. Let me say it again. The lack of money will cost you money. The way that our economy is set up is it feeds off of the poor, okay? I don't know by design or not, but it feeds off the poor. Your habits, okay, actually push up the economy, right? The banking fees you pay, the overdraft fees, the payday loans, all the stuff that, they feed off of people who don't have money. Why? Because people who don't have money, they go out and get credit, they want credit, and they'll go get it at a high rent interest rate. Yes, it is expensive to be poor, right? It is expensive to be poor, okay? And so now you have your life happens fund, second fund. So we got one fund, okay? Put that in a CD account, put that in, I carry a TD Ameritrade account. You can have an E-Trade account. This is the stock market. You can have cash, however, to the side of that. And you can transfer it, back and forth to your account. So I have an investment account that I utilize, okay? Right now, the economy is at the very bottom. Okay, I'm gonna just tell you that right now. The economy is starting to shift up, and I'm gonna tell you, starting next year, you're gonna see it blast off. Okay, people are already having hopes. You're watching the stock market push up. These are your people who understand numbers, y'all. These markets are not just moving by accident. Okay, you got to understand these markets are not moving by accident. I know the markets are gonna shoot up. Okay, not only with the knowledge that I have with looking at charts, but based on the knowledge I have about what the banks are going to do, printing money. Okay, and what they expect us to do. You're going to consume. People are going to consume. They're going to go up. So for those who are investing or saving, you might have a segregated account. You know, try to not to go heavy in stocks because that's not guaranteed. You can't move. You know, you might really need it. But the Life Happens Fund, this is going to be like $1,000 fund. This is so that you don't go into your emergency fund. You ever have that? You ever have that? If you break a 20, it's pretty much spent. You break 100, it's done. And you ever break a bill and you know it's done when you break that bill? Okay, it's kind of like an account. When you break into your emergency account, it's almost like psychologically you're telling yourself it's okay to now start spending the emergency fund because that was your emergency fund. You've been telling yourself that the entire time. That's my emergency fund. That's my emergency fund. So all your mind knows, okay, is that's the emergency fund. So as soon as you go into the emergency fund, what is your mind telling you? It's an emergency. It's okay. Go into the fund. And before you know it, maybe you had 100,000 saved up, 100,000 turns to 60,000, 30,000. Okay, because you dipped into it, and then you didn't have your Life Happens Fund. Your Life Happens Fund is going to be when the car breaks. Okay, when the kids got to go to the dentist. Listen, that's a real story right there. Okay, the dentist. I went to the dentist, and I told my wife, I have to wonder, how are people living? Because I know we're good, but I know the nation is not good. Like, we're all right. 365, I still don't like to spend on one tooth. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to spend $365 on one tooth. That's after insurance. Okay, and I have good insurance. Okay, good insurance. And I looked at the bill and it cost $1,400. I need you to understand derivatives. See, now I'm going way deep. I'm not gonna take us deep. Too much knowledge coming out of here. Okay, but the insurance is a whole nother game. Okay, it said that the tooth cost $1,400 to put a cap on it. I said, whoa. And then they were doing me a favor. They said the insurance is covering 374 of it, and you're going to cover 374 of it. Wow. You understand the game here? Most people probably don't have dental insurance or cannot go to the dentist. Okay. And let alone, we're blessed to have medical. Okay? If you have medical, you're blessed to have medical. All right. Majority of debt in America is happening from medical bills. Right. Our system is jacked. Okay, but that's what the system is. So we have to learn how to get through it. We got to save. We got to be in position. Okay, when you're gonna realize when you start having money, you're gonna make more money. So I want this season of your life, 2021 is coming, and I want to challenge you. This season of your life, I want you to go hard as you can to save your money and get rid of the habit of spending, because there's so much blessings on the other side of having money and not being in lack. Okay, we call it energy, but if I can be honest with you, listen, when you have the money in your account, you're not going to have to go give someone something that you didn't want to give them. Now I got to go to the credit man. I got to go in debt myself because I don't got the money and they want to charge me an astronomical rate of interest. And forbid if your credit is not good, listen, the President Obama, he put into effect where these credit companies could not, okay, basically devour you. Right? There's points on interest rates. They have to expose you what you're going to be paying. But that wasn't the time, folks. It was that companies could take advantage of you easy. And they will still. And so I promise you, because I'm going to tell you my story, I promise you that if you put yourself in position to save, first of all, you're going to get addicted to it. And then you're going to realize money just comes frequently in abundance. That's my family story. So let me just talk about the beginning. Yeah, y'all thought I was playing. I said I barely approved for $2,000 of credit back in the days. 18, life was rough coming out of Compton, California. Okay, evicted from my apartment, had to move back in with mom's young teenage dad. Just bumped into my father who was homeless. A lot was going on in my world, and I remember, first I remember hopping on a flight heading to Texas. I felt like a new life already. I was leaving California, and I didn't know what was ahead. I just needed something different in my life. And for me, I'll tell you the blessing that happened to me, it put me around different people. Okay. Some of us, we fall victim to our surroundings. You're the sum total of 5 people who hang around you the most. So you're going to get advice from people who are just like you. So it's no different than you giving yourself advice. You realize that, right? You go to your best friend right now. Y'all hung around, y'all went to high school together, middle school together. Y'all love each other. Y'all from the same hood, same neighborhood. Everything is the same. And you go ask them, should I do this? Yeah, man, yeah. Go live. You only can live once. Let's go get it. Okay? Get the car. Or your girlfriend, yeah, girl, go splurge. You deserve it. They're giving you the advice. That's why you go to your friends, right? We have friends because they get to tell us what we want to hear. And when they don't tell us listen, this is how we are. And when they don't tell us what we want to hear, who are they to us then? They ain't your friend. You ain't not my friend. They jealous. They just don't want me to have a house. Okay? This is why I don't give advice to people. Okay? This is what comes out of people. They just jealous. They don't want me to have a house. They don't want me to have a new car. It's because they don't got a new car. Nah. I'm trying to tell you the system. Okay? But this is how we are. And we got to check ourselves. And so she says, here's more how people indebt themselves. I've watched people do this. How many of you watch someone do this? They have a car that's maybe older, but they're still making the payment on it. But then something happens, the car's still all right, they just got to fix it. But because they don't even have the money to fix it, and they can only get a loan, I mean, they don't have the cash reserve to just go fix the car. It might be a $500 fix, $900 fix. They would prefer to go refinance another car or trade that car in. Oh, they said they're doing zero down. Car dealerships, they pray over you. Okay, I was just the other day on the radio. They were like, can't get approved. Been to all the car dealerships. Want to approve you? We'll approve you. Just show us a pay stub. Oh my God. Oh my God. Because let me tell you, we have as a family in the car business. And I was looking for my daughter a car. We're buying cash. Okay. You can't go in the hood and buy a car when you're buying cash. Because you're never going, they ain't looking for good deals. They looking to steal your wealth. Okay. The used car, let me say it again, okay, for my people. In the neighborhood, they are looking to steal your wealth. They'll give you high interest rate. Listen, they don't love you. If you get a 20% interest rate on your car, they don't love you. Okay? They love your money that you're about to bring. Because here's what it looks like. This is what he told me. He said, listen, some of these cars we sold 10 times. He said, some of these cars in the lots, we just sold it back to the person 5 times. Because here's what happens. They'll get a car they can't afford. First of all, the interest rate way too high, payments way too high. And when they don't pay it, it's the first thing that car dealership goes to do? They go repo it. Okay, it's a sad story. They go repo it, and now that person, because it puts pressure on them, they go find the money. They could have paid the money a long time ago. They find the money and they go pay them. But he said it was a sad story. He says, man, we have to repo these cars. We have sold some of these cars we sold 5 times in this line. We got it back. They didn't got 10 times out the car what it was actually worth from repoing it and reselling it. Okay, you understand what poverty is? Okay, poverty is this, a mindset, poor. It's this. And, I come from that. My mom hates when I say, Mom, we were poor. She will not admit, I'm like, Mom, this is where we were, but it's okay. We did great. We did it. But it's the fact that I'm not acknowledging that, no, this is our situation, unfortunately. This is the cards that we were dealt. All right. So of course I already talked about your net worth. 49% of people don't know what their net worth is. I want to challenge you, good or bad, go find out what your net worth is today. It's going to motivate you. Listen, for me, when I joined the Air Force, okay, absolutely a negative net worth. Okay. I was living paycheck to paycheck. I was in shambles. Young man, I was in shambles. And the best thing the military did for me is they offered me a home on base. My first home was on base. Okay. And I had to get my life in check because I went into the military with the same spending mentality. I wanted to get a car. And I thank God because when I got in, I watched the young airmen because outside of every base, if you're military on here, you know this. Outside of every base, okay, what is there? A car dealership. Because they know the young airmen's coming in. They got their fresh paycheck. They're under contract. They're going to have a job for 4 years, 6 years, and they're going to indebt them with a car. They warned us about that going to the military, and I'm so grateful. Listen, my credit was so bad, so I couldn't get a car. But I remember having friends who got cars that were at that time. Young airman, you're only making $1,200 a month, $2,000, not even you're barely making $1,200 a month. Young airman, $1,800. and you go get a car payment that's costing you $300. Okay, and I couldn't even really approve for a car, so I had a car though. Here's the crazy part: I had a car. Okay, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show y'all a picture. I'm gonna drop it in the group later. I had my little Honda Accord 1991. I put rims on it, put some bump in the back. Still all the wrong things. Listen, I took a whole $4,000 sign-on bonus the Air Force gave me. This is my mindset. I need to tell you where I come from. I took $4,000. I owe money, okay, but I took $4,000 and I put all of it into a car that probably cost $2,000. Come on now. Bought them 17-inch rims. Back in the day, those were big rims, okay? Now they got 26s and 28s. But back in the days, the 17s, I kept them clean, okay? Put 17-inch rims on the car. Listen, this is just, I got to speak truth because I've changed, okay? I got the car painted black, fresh paint job, you know, listen. I put the 12-inch rocks for 5 gauge in the back because you want the trunk to boom. Listen, okay, yeah, I know y'all see me. Y'all like, look at my mentor. I want to tell you where your mentor came from, okay? Look, put the TVs in the headrest of the 1991 Honda Accord. Okay, you feeling me? Because this is what I seen. I was hood rich. You know, everything that I seen around me, I wanted, I'm like, man, I can't wait to get money so I can do it because that's what I seen. And I want to just give you, because it's just popping ahead, be careful what you show your kids because they're going to live that legacy on. That was a legacy I started living. And I'm so grateful I got in a situation, listen, got in an accident with my car, didn't have insurance, okay? Driving around with no insurance. Come on, look, I know let me tell the truth, okay? Driving around with no insurance, hoping not to have an accident because I want to save a couple dollars. But I'm only going to spend and still be at the club at the young age of 19, 20 years old anyway. You understand me? Not taking care of responsibility, and eventually it comes and bites you. No sense of saving whatsoever. It wasn't even a thought in my mind to save money at all. Paycheck to paycheck, normal. That's where I come from. And it is not until I served maybe 4 years in the Air Force, I'll say 3 years, I started realizing that people were operating differently. So the first 2 years, I started realizing people were operating differently. Third year, I said I need to make a change. There is no reason why I should not have money. Okay, I started realizing that my circle was changing now, but my circle was different. And there were people who had money in their accounts. There were people who could do certain things and I couldn't. And I said, what is going on? And I had to get my life in check. Man, oh my, Pam, woo, rental rims. I remember that too. Folks were putting rims on credit. My goodness, yeah, they got us good. Good. And you didn't see, you didn't see no rental rims in the suburbs, did you? You didn't see payday loans in the suburbs, did you? You didn't see pawn shops in the suburbs, did you? Where'd you see them at? In impoverished neighborhoods. Listen to me, folks. Right? Only a small few will get out of this situation because they recognize the game. They recognize the system. And when you recognize the system, you can get out of the system. It's the matrix. Okay? And some of us live in that matrix. So, all right, I digress. Let me get back. Okay? The gospel of frugality, being frugal. Okay? If you live as though prices will rise drastically tomorrow, you'll watch what you spend today at the grocery store. So if you know that if you live as if you know the world is going to crash, you'll start spending less. Like we're in a pandemic right now, and I still see people spending. Okay, that shouldn't be spending. And there is going to be another side, but no one knows how long. So if you have it right now, you should be saving it and investing it. And then she says, if you live as though you could lose your job tomorrow, you'll spend less than you make. Okay? And if you live in a mental recession, now first you got to understand where the recession is. Okay, we're in a recession right now. Okay, this is a recession for sure. Okay, if you live in a mental recession, you would reject the advice that there is good debt and bad debt. Let me say it again. Okay, because you'll hear people say good debt. Now there are some good debt depending on how you utilize it. Okay, but most people I realize don't understand this conversation. Let me explain it. Okay, some people say it's good debt if I buy a house. No, it's not good debt if you buy a house. Okay, It's good debt if it produces you it produces you a stream of income. And I would even say this for my investors out there. Okay, I'll tell you, I'm a real estate investor. I would not buy a single family home in this time at all to rent out to someone unless you have unless you see it so cheap that you grab it up. And of course, it's not on credit. If you buy it cash, no big deal. Now I'm talking, this is other than cash. But if you have to go out and get debt to get a home right now, let's say you're an investor and you're going for a single family home, it's not a good move. Okay. Multiple family, yes. Right. Multiple family, hopefully someone's living in one and you can live in the other. That's a good move because you're going to walk into a situation where things are covered, baseline. Okay. It won't drop that much in value. There's always going to be people who can rent it. Single family home, once one person's out, it's vacant 100%. Now you got to keep up with that. You know, we're about to sell a home that you want to talk about this home all the time. And the agent just came back. I was surprised because I was going to sell it for less. And I was like, 100? What? Okay. That was a little ugly house that I bought. Okay, when I was a lieutenant about to pin on captain. I understand, captain, you're prestigious. I think no, I was a first lieutenant. I was going to be pinning on captain a year later. And instead of buying all the officers, they were buying house in Abilene and Sugar Land and these big. They were living in 3,000 square foot homes, and I just wasn't going to do it. And I remember getting this house. They call it the hood. Like I can't. I was like, nobody's dying. There's no gunshots. Okay, this ain't the hood, y'all. Because y'all feel because it's run down in your opinion. When I got this house, I said we could rent this house out. And I had already read that we were already years into the book of Robert Kiyosaki. So, I was looking to build my portfolio. So I bought this ugly house, and trust me, for the husbands, I heard it the whole time. I heard it the whole time. Okay. And we lived there. I lived there as much as I possibly could. Okay. To squeeze as much money as I could out. And then eventually I had to give in. I said, okay, I'm giving in. Let's go move. Let's go upgrade. Okay. We're moving up. I'm going to get you out of here. But that home today, listen, I think I called the obedience to God, right? I wasn't spending more than I had. That house is now paying us double of what we paid for it. Okay. Powerful. Triple of what we paid for it. Triple. Because we held it for 10 years. I had it rented out for 10 years. When we stayed in for maybe a year or so, I had it rented out for 10 years or 9 years. Made a lot of rental from it. And now turn around and selling, getting more equity out of it. It was a win. Okay. But you're gonna have to be in a position to save. For me, that was a big win in my life. And I'll tell you the transition. Because I was a young kid, I was used to living paycheck to paycheck. And my life was at a reset when I met my wife, Wanda. Okay, and Wanda in corporate, that's when my life was on the up. I had learned great habits. I was a captain. Now bank account was great. I had the car of my dreams. Savings were there. And I was at that time I was single, met Wanda, girlfriend, boyfriend, became fiance, married. Here we are, 12 years later, about to hit 13 years. Okay, we've grown together. And I got to watch her grow. But I had a season where I had to get my financials together as the man. Okay. And I will tell you, you don't want to hit on it perfectly. The stress is hard sometimes for the men because you want to pamper and do everything, whether for the fiance, the girlfriend, or the wife. Okay. You got the money and you're spending the money, but there's gonna be seasons that you have to be obedient to what God has given you, okay, and still save in spite of. Keep that mental recession. And maybe that might have to be a conversation. I can tell you, I was just telling my wife, I said, listen, I was 24 years, she was 22, 23, I was 26, 27. And in that season of my life, at first I was like, because I was 2006, 4 years out of a relationship. Okay. And I was like, I'm done. And obviously guys like, no, you're not. Okay. You're not. But I'll tell you, when I met my wife, my girlfriend at the time, I wanted to, hey, she gonna get this and get that. You want to ball out of control. But there was a season I said, hey, listen, this is us. Well, here's how we're gonna have to operate. Okay, here's our goals and dreams. We read Rich Dad Poor Dad together. Okay, to get on that track. We talked about becoming 7-figure earners, making millions, for our family and so forth. That was the beginning of our conversation. Okay, so the expectation was set. But there are still times in a relationship that I overspent when I shouldn't. Okay, and there's be times that you do it, and you just gotta recognize it. And so understand that when you're doing this, she says in God's view, right, the lack of provision makes you fearful, and you can separate from God, right? Think about it, what you have to do, right? You're going to indebt yourself. It already says don't do that. Okay, maybe you might get upset because you're not being blessed with certain things, but really it's you causing it, right? You're living your own consequences, not for not staying within the will, within the word. Okay, so at the end of the day, you have to have the habit of saving. So what happened to me is, and I always tell the story. I remember celebrating when I saved my first $5,000. Okay, and then it got to 10,000, and then it got to 20,000. And I say this because you're gonna realize as you start building up your bank account. This is when I don't even know about stocks or trading or nothing. This is just pure savings, right? And so I'm saving this money, and I'm creating what I call floors. And every time I got there, I see 20,000 in the bank. I'm like, man, it's the most I've ever seen. Okay, kid out of Compton, California, 20,000, huge. And then that started becoming my floor. Like I didn't want to go below that. And so just like I tell all my leaders, I said, one of my goals I have for you is get to 100,000 in the save, put away, because it's going to become your floor. You're going to get uncomfortable when you dip below it. So maybe your floor might be 1,000. You might be saying, well, Rand, shoot, it might be 100 right now. Okay, she's going to challenge you. I'm going to give you your daily assignment. Okay, she says, no matter what, even if it's just putting $5 away, let me tell you, some of you have been ingrained with this saying here. You know, you only live once. Okay, you hear that one. Or you look at it, it's some of you are waiting for the promotion before you start saving. You're waiting for you to get in the better situation before you start saving. You think that when you make more money, you're going to start saving. You're not, because it's a habit. It's a part of your DNA that you're not doing, and you got to reprogram. You ever heard what you do with $1 is the same you'll do with 100? It's true. Thank God you don't have 100 right now. Thank God you don't have 100,000 right now, because you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna indebt yourself more. You know what people end up doing? Man, now I got 100,000. I can go put out on a house I can't afford. Instead of going to buy a house that's 50,000, okay, buy it outright in cash. You'll go give the bank 50,000, 10%, and get a $500,000 home. You indebt yourself to debt, leverage, the wrong way, because that's the mindset. So I used to think like, it's $5. It's only $5. I want you to think. You'll say it's only $10. It's only $20. I look at that. Listen, $20 can $24 right now to buy you an ounce of gold, an ounce of silver. Okay, $20 can do a lot. Of $20 in a stock account. Okay, you can buy you one share of something. Listen, $14 back in the days of one Netflix share. Some of you feel that one share of something is not even worth it. Let me tell you how worth it is. If I would have bought one share of Netflix, okay, that was $500. That's called a good return on investment. One share you could forget about. One share you can close your eyes and you forget about. Oh my God, open up an account and be like, oh my God, I got 500. I got $10,000 in there because I bought 5 shares, whatever you did. Okay. But if you don't have the money to do these things, you'll never get wealthy. You'll never get rich. You'll always stay in your same situation. Okay. So here's the daily assignment. You've all done your budget. If you haven't done your budget, you must do your budget. You must budget. Okay. Only track what you want to keep. Like I tell my kids, only brush the teeth that you want to keep. Okay. Only track what you want to keep. Because if you don't track it, you're going to spend it. Right? They know your habits. The banks know your habits. They know you're just going to swipe the card. Okay? They are the wolf looking over the hen's den. And we allow them to manage our accounts every day and then wonder why we got overdraft fees, why there's extra fees, why there's money. What happened to my money? And you start going through like, yeah, you spent your money. You overdrafted your money. They're not saying they intentionally, it could be murder. It doesn't matter how it happens, right? You swipe your card or you put for something to get paid, and then you base what your spending habits are based on looking. Let me say this. If you determine what you could spend daily by looking at the balance in your account, you're wrong. You'll indebt yourself every single time. Let me say it one more time. If you are determining what you can spend based on looking at the balance in your account, With no budget, you are wrong. Okay. And when you overdraft the account and when you indebt yourself, that was on you. Okay. You must budget. See, they took away that thing got it right here, the old checks. Okay. I'm even gonna go back to the old way that we do our checks, a checkbook. Okay. They make that a thing of the past. They went digital. They're going digital, folks. Why do you think they're going digital? Okay. Why do you think that swiping is it? Because they realize like when checks, people account too much with checks. They can think about it too much with checks. But with a credit card, you can't think about it. It's impulsive. You just do it. And before you know it, you've spent all your money. That's what the economy wants, right? The economy thrives off that. You understand that? That's the goal, for you to spend money. And you can't conform to the world. You have to be renewed if you're going to succeed here. So here is the daily assignment. If you're not regularly saving right now, okay, make the commitment today to save at least 5% of every paycheck. 5% of every check. That's not a lot, folks. 5%. Okay. And you've always heard me tell you your goal is to get that joker to at least 20%. And that's what she's going to suggest here. And man, if you can start living off way less, get yourself to saving 50%, right? Get that net worth now. Because I promise you, so much opportunity is about to come over the next 4 years. I'm telling you right now, okay? So much opportunity is about to come over the next 4 years. It's about to be crazy, right? Investors know it, okay? Real estate investors know it. They know that it's about to be booming. Stockbrokers know it, okay? But if you don't have money right now, some of you think, because when I say that it's about the next 4 years, most people think I'm gonna go indebt myself to go get a house right now. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying put yourself in position so that you can take advantage of opportunities and you don't have to pass it up. Poor, right? Passing over opportunities repeatedly. You pass it up because you don't have the money. She says, for example, if your net income also, if your net income during one pay period is $1,500, you will save $75. Listen, folks, that's $300. If you're getting $1,500 per pay period, or maybe you get paid twice a month. Okay, that's $150 a month. 10%, 5%. 10% is 150. So I'm thinking $300. So yes, you're gonna save 10% in a month if you save 5% per pay period. Okay, so if you're making $1,500, you should be able to put away $150 a month. So basically, 10% a month is your goal. But don't wait to the month. Don't delay and say, okay, I don't have it this one. Make savings just like it's a bill, but don't think of it like a bill. You're paying yourself. And I'm gonna tell you I know your thought process, because when I was reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, he would say pay yourself. And he would say pay yourself, like put it in an investment account, put it out somewhere. I'm like, that's not paying myself. See, paying ourselves, we're going to spend it at the store. Okay, we're going to go buy an outfit, buy some shoes. That's paying ourselves. No, that's not paying yourself. Paying yourself is putting in a way so that you can take advantage of some opportunity that may come your way that will change your life forever. You realize that what we do today, our opportunity, you got people who don't have $235, folks, to take advantage of opportunity. Okay? That's crazy. And it's only, 10% of their income. Next one. If you work for a company, contact your benefits coordinator to set up an automatic deposit into your savings account. Put the money into an account and resolve not to touch it. Don't touch it. Okay, and I'll tell you what my family does right now. I have several ways that I save our money. Okay, I save 10% of our savings in commodities, gold and silver. 10%. Okay, I know I can't touch it. Well, I can, but here's the process for me to go sell gold and silver. First of all, I gotta go look and make sure, because I ain't gonna never sell it below what it's worth. So I gotta go look at the exchange and say, okay, gold is up, silver is up. Then I gotta go to a silver dealer, or I go back to my people that I buy it from. And I say, here, I have 100 ounces of silver. I would like to sell this back to you for some thousands. Okay, and that's how if I need to cash in, that would be an emergency fund. But I'll tell you, that fund that I'm saving, that commodities is gonna go to my kids, because I know what history did. Right? History was that silver was at $2 an ounce back in the days. Okay, gold was at $30 an ounce. Okay, had my grandparents collected gold. Okay, it was set every generation up from here. And so what you're doing is I'm saving for my kids and their kids. And so I don't ever expect to even spend any of the commodity stuff. So that's one hardcore savings, okay? Um, then we have our segregated kind of account where I do investment, long-term investments at. That's TD Ameritrade. Okay, so you can use TD Ameritrade or E-Trade. So if you're trading, okay, listen, take 10% of your trade, same thing, right? If you take a withdrawal from your trading account, put some away, if not all of it. It's extra money. What are we going to take out my investment and spend it on something that didn't make me money? How hard did it take you to make that money in the market? Think about that. It takes me some time to make that money in the market, and I go spend it on something that ain't going to make me more money. Nah, I make money in the market, and that money for the market will make me some more money. So I take that market money and I put it in my long-term account, segregated account. Then you're going to have what? Your emergency fund that you're working on. Okay, now some of you are starting from zero. If you're starting from zero, the first fund you're going to create is $1,000. Okay, so you get 15%, 10% until you have $1,000 saved up. Once you got $1,000 saved up, that's life happens. That's the life happens account. Okay, then you're going to shift to the emergency account. You need to put away 3 to 6 months. And here's what I want to challenge you: celebrate. When you put away a month of your income, celebrate that, y'all. It's a big deal. Okay, don't let people make you feel bad that a month of savings is a big deal in America. Okay, a lot of people ain't got it, so don't think it's a small deal. It's not. A lot of people don't. 80% of people don't got it. So that's a big deal. Put away 2 months, celebrate. Put away 3 months, celebrate. And you don't got to celebrate it with going out to buy anything. Don't buy anything. Okay. It may be celebrated with a candlelight dinner at the house, or whatever the case may be. Okay. If you're already saving, consider increasing the amount you are putting aside. 5% is just a beginning. Okay. So basically, put away 10 to 15%. If you've already been saving 5%, go to 10%. It's like a muscle. Saving is a muscle. I'm telling you from experience. I had no savings muscle whatsoever. It was weak. I couldn't pick up a weight whatsoever. Okay. Dollar came in, dollar went out. Okay. That was the muscle I had. Now, listen, folks, if I had it my way, I'd put my whole check away. I don't think my kids or wife would like that. Okay. So, but if I could, I would try to put 100% of my check away for real. Okay. Whatever. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at in life. Like, I don't got, like, COVID for me, besides the deaths that are happening. Okay. COVID is a blessing. I've never saved so much money. We're not going anywhere. I get to sit behind a computer, make money, invest money, move money, okay? Property selling. Listen, you're going to be in the same position because I started from zero. I started from that. And it can start today for you, today. So she said to give your savings a purpose, list the things you would like to do with the money. For example, pay off a debt. Now, there's a thing that I don't know if you guys follow Dave Ramsey as well, okay? He has a debt snowball calculator. I'm actually gonna make a financial folder for our team, and I'm gonna put, because Pam Colbert, she gave us a powerful budget sheet. I put all my stuff in that budget sheet. It's powerful. Okay, so she has a powerful budget sheet that she gave. I push it out through our app here, and then also I'm gonna give you the debt snowball, how to pay off your credit cards in the next year. Okay, it's gonna tell you exactly the amount that you need to do, and I have a video that I recorded. I'm gonna put that out there too, so you can follow along with it. And this is a season I want you to get out of debt, because I know if you get out of debt, listen, when the economy does what it's going to do, you're going to start winning. You're going to be in position. When that impulse happens in the economy, you're going to win. Okay, so let me look at the pledge she has here, and we're going to bring our call to a close. All right, my pledge. Okay, I will commit today to set aside a percentage of every paycheck for my savings. Okay, that's our pledge, folks. It's time to get out of debt. It's time to get out. Let's call it what it is. It's time to get out of slavery. Okay, it's time to escape this system. All right, I know there's major lives are going to be changed from this call, from the know-how, from the knowledge. Okay, and get this book if you haven't already got it, folks, and start blessing people. It's time to not tell people what they want to hear. It's time to bless people with what they need to hear to change their family's generation, because we are now talking not only hope, but we were speaking future into people. See, on this call, there are 119, 116 people on this call. Okay, I want to pray that your family will be out of bondage, because that's what it is. We're under financial bondage. Okay. I pray that every soul, every person that comes in contact with you, okay, every person on this call, every family member, every person that you talk to, that we break the bondage. And if you ever looked at Legacy Worldwide, listen, I thank God today, like how it happened. Legacy Worldwide, breaking the chains of poverty. So if you ever see our emblem on here, this right here, let me see if it shows it. No, it doesn't show it. Our logo, we have one that says breaking chains. And we created it because there was a lot of things that I thought about. There's bad health. All of it stems from finances. There's bad finances, bad credit, bad things that happen in your family. Breaking the bondage, okay? Those chains breaking is breaking everything that is keeping your family's generation down. We break them right now, okay? They're broken. And we start moving in the right way, okay? That's the prayer for you and your family. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay. So that is our call, folks. Let's go. It's time to get our life in order. Yes, go make the money. Make the money. Make the money. But right now in your season, use what you have and have gratitude for what you have, and still act like you have the money already and start putting it away. Okay, so that is our call, folks.